Ah, here we go. Can you hear me now? Oh, cool. Do you mind talking on YouTube just so I look less like a lunatic talking to myself? Good boy. Good boy. Alright, so let's get started. I always play this game on hard survival. For me, there's no point in playing it on normal, because in normal you're just handed everything. So, hard survival is the way to go. And I don't know how much you know about the game, how much you played it, but the AI is very intelligent in this game, and I make use of that. A lot of people that I see, unfortunately, that's why I don't play with a lot of people this game, are just dumb. They just treat it as a hack and slash and just run around slashing at everything instead of actually playing smart. And I like playing smart. So the AI reacts to whatever you do in the forest. It's their home. So if you start chopping down trees, for example, in front of them, they get very angry. If they find stumps of trees, they get very angry. If you attack their females in front of them, they get very angry. If you attack anyone else in front of them, they get very angry. So you finished it. Well, then you should be a pro at the game, alright? Pro? Pun intended. But yeah, so I like to not aggravate them more than I have to. At one point, I would actually pacify them. You can pacify them if you start straight away. It takes you about 2 days to get them pacified. What you have to do for that is make a stick, an upgraded stick. Glad you caught on. Glad you caught on. See, that's the difference between you and Morgans. They wouldn't have. But anyhow, so if you wanna pacify them, you have to make an upgraded stick and seek them out and just block their attacks. Best thing to do is go somewhere where you have water in your back, so if it gets too much, you can always retreat in the water. Make sure that the water is deep enough so they can't just run into it. And then just block their attacks. Initially, they will attack you straight away, most likely. Especially the skinny ones. The skinny ones are... they kind of follow suit once you have the upright ones pacified. It's more important that you do not hurt the upright ones than it is to not hit the crouching ones, the skinny ones. The upright ones are the ones that you want to pacify, because whatever they do, the skinny ones follow suit. So in the beginning you won't have any upright ones, so you might want to take a day or 2 days until the upright ones show up. And then when you come across them, like I said, try to find a spot where you can fight them, where you have water on your back. Keep blocking their attacks. It will take you some time. It possibly takes you a whole day. And eventually they will stop attacking you and just run away. And once that happens, just make sure that you wait long enough that you don't just straight away move on, because they are very tricky. They can come back and attack you. They can pretend to just run away while actually maybe hiding and then jumping you the moment that you turn your back. It has nothing to do with depth of the game. It's just observational skills, really, that people do not bother employing, unfortunately. It's just watching what the enemies do. I mean, that's sort of my playstyle in general in any game, especially ever since I've played the Dark Souls game, where you pretty much have to watch your enemies' movements before you run into them, or before you start fighting them. But it's just all about paying attention to what's going on around you. And unfortunately, like I said, a lot of people treat games these days as hack and slash, no matter what type of game it is. Whether it's an RPG or whether it's a survival game like that. They just don't want to use their brains, if they have any, that is. Anyhow, let's see where we ended up here, actually. Oh, I think I know where, this is possibly the small lake near the goose lake. Well, small lake, I say waterfall thing. Yep, I'm right, as always. I'm always right. So the first thing that I usually do is to get the let me get around that tree. Is to get the modern axe And depending on what my goal is for the game, for the playthrough, I tend to get the katana straight away. The katana is sort of not strictly necessary in the first couple of days, for me at least. So sometimes I just pick it up within the first 30 days, because after 30 days it can get tricky if you don't have a katana just yet. Because, as you possibly know, because you're a pro, as we established already, after 30 days, the sausages have a chance of spawning, and killing the sausages with a weapon that has a slow attack rate is tricky at best, impossible at worst. So I like to have the katana just for that. The katana is also really useful if you want to go croc hunting. Because of the high attack speed, you can stun the crocs. You can stun lock them actually, and therefore they're not going to bother you too much while you try to kill them. So that there. So first thing for me usually is, depending on where I end up, is go to the main cave to get the modern axe, and I actually like rolling it up from the back better than going through the main village. Don't ask me why, it's just preference, I suppose. And then again, depending on what I play or what the purposes of the game, whether I play single player or multiplayer, I tend to get the warm suit straight away as well, because as you of course know, you only have 7 days until the mutants show up, and once the mutants are up, it gets a little bit more tricky to get the materials needed for the warm suit. And of course, since you also pay attention when you play a game, you know exactly where the spawn spots are for all the boars, and therefore you will have, of course, no problem getting the warm suit in just 5 days. Because that's usually as much as it takes me. If I have a really extremely super duper lucky start and I end up straight at the main village with a plane, then I have managed to get the warm suit by the 3rd day. But that is really super lucky. Usually on average on day 5 I have my warm suit and the axe and the katana. So that's more the normal stuff. Actually my main game that I have currently on my main account, on that one I was as lucky. On day 3 I already was at my building spot. I tend to build always at the Goose Lake. Not sure how well you know the map. It's the lake where you have on the one side it's a large lake, but on one side has a cliff and is right surrounded by the forest itself. And there is 1 to 3 of those lookout posts, 2 in the water, 1 on the shore close to the water's edge. Oh, Shooby-Doo. I forgot the pots. Why didn't you tell me? Wait, did I open the suitcases? I'm having... Yes, of course I did. Oh, bunny. Never mind. You can talk, you know, just saying. So this is the back entrance of the main cave. Well, not main cave, the cave where the where the axe is. Yes, I know. Typical Taurus. Not the talkers. But yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to just ask. So let's see what we have here. I could make a bow. Okay. So let's hope that those guys are asleep and I can snatch them while they're asleep. Okay. Okay, everything is on the right hotkeys. That's cool. Can you see actually? Because I know that the people tell me the darkness is too much for them. Is that my bread? Oh, they're asleep. Why am I whispering? I don't know. Oh, and they're standing next to each other. Perfect. So you can one-shot them when they're asleep like that. And can I get them both? That was not how it was supposed to be. Okay. Okay. Never mind that. But I got one. You're not my lucky charm. Normally, when they're that close together, if you smack the first one in the back, he goes down, you smack the second one straight away, and he also immediately goes down, even if they're in the phase of waking up. But, well, wasn't lucky today. Normally, when they sleep, the easiest way to kill them without waking the rest of them is to either use bow and arrow, which only works if you have your strength up, or a foolproof way, 100%, is if you burn them. If you use the hairspray. I haven't got that yet. Oh, shut it, son. The only time I actually die in this game is glitches. Especially one that I get a lot, unfortunately, is when I try to cross water, usually shallow water, and it pushes me underwater and doesn't let me come up. It just pushes me underwater, even though the water isn't even deep enough for me to dive, but it pushes me down under the surface, and I just can't get back up. And then my controls stop working as well, and the only thing I can really do is then die or reload the game. Unfortunately, it tends to happen when I haven't saved, so reloading is usually not even an option without losing a lot of progress. Because, stupid as I am, because I tend to not die, I tend to forget to save. So, but yeah. Let's see if the guy's back asleep. And as for the... Oops, that was not what I wanted to do. As for the cannibals, also, the other thing, you can always one-shot them, even when they are not asleep, if they are unaware of you. So, if they come and jump you, just dodge their attacks, and there will be, sooner or later, a moment where they jump past you, and then just stare straight into nothing, pretty much, and do not look at you. That is your chance then to... For a second I thought he was asleep. But yeah, that's then your chance. Hopefully we'll see what it's like right now. Just waiting for him to move. Ideally you want to get them when they're not looking at you in the first place, or when they're not aware of you firstly. See, like that, when he's standing like that. Adios, amigo. So, no, I wasted one corpse though, because the other guy is for sure now despawned. There go my bones. Oh, the other thing also that I noticed, I'm not sure if it's just me that noticed that, or if it's really a mechanic in the game, but I noticed that whenever I have bone armor on, they tend to be more aggressive than if I just wear my stealth armor or mutant armor. Yeah, that guy's still there, but is he facing away from me? No, he's not. Oh, yes, he is. Haha. That's my chance. Adios, amigo. So, come here, buddy. No. Hairspray. If you do not hairspray, the other way to set corpses... Whoops. The other way to set corpses alight is to light your upgraded stick. This thing. If you set it alight and then just look down and bash the corpses with it. It doesn't do this motion when it's on fire. It actually swings down and it hits the corpses, and you can set them on fire that way if you don't have hairspray. And if you don't have the option to build a fire. Oh, where is... There we go. And yeah, with the bones, that is possibly the case. Another thing also, another way to pacify, well, pacify is maybe said too much, but another, shoot, where, there we go. I didn't pay attention. You gotta be quick with picking up the bones, because sometimes, if you're not quick enough, they just despawn. Oh, there's one missing. Where's that bone? Come on, I want my bone. Oh, not the head. They tend to glitch into the floor as well, so sometimes it pays out to just move around and just wildly push the button to pick up one, whatever you use on PC. So yeah, not this time. Okay. The other way, sorry, I got sidetracked there. The other way to sort of pacify them, or I think more correctly, to scare them, is by killing a lot of them in front of others. And I mean a lot, so 20 plus. And they will start getting scared of you, and the moment that you raise your weapon, they will recognize the weapon. If you use always the same, in my case it's always a bow. And they will recognize that, and they will start running away. They won't even bother attacking you the moment that you raise your weapon. But only then. So up until the moment that you raise your weapon, they will still go for you, or try to go for you. Fine, fine, I won't tell you then. Duh. Kids these days. You're the one who gets his knickers in a twist because you're scared of this game. I don't see how. How are you scared of this game? I mean, it's not like it's Alien Isolation. I swear to God, that game I can only play for half an hour and then I can't. It's giving me a heart attack. Wait, what? Huh? No, I want you to. What? Huh? Want me to? What? What? I've been reading that I think now 5 times and I still don't know what the hell you're on about. Speak English to me, okay? Okay, so let's check our calories, shall we? Forgot about that. Oh yeah, we need to drink. Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe writing in full sentences would make more sense, just saying. I'm not very proficient at being a mind reader, you know. Not yet, anyway. Guys tend to assume that. Always throw half sentences at us and then expect us to know what they're talking about. And I hope you can understand me fine through my fake German accent, you know. I did have one merc and once, I think it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, something like that. He joined my voice party. I was playing No Man's Sky, I believe, and he joined the voice party, and I thought he was kind of nice, had a very pleasant voice, and at first he seemed nice, you know, said hi and whatnot, and then not even 5 minutes into the conversation he said, "Oh, sorry, but I really can't understand what you're saying, your accent is so thick." And then he left the party without a word. We didn't even have an argument or anything, just that. Yep, it raises your hackles. Have you ever played Alien Isolation? Wow, so Alien Isolation you play without problems, but this game you say raises your hackles. Okay. Weirdo. Have you played the game through? Uh, well, you possibly played it for 5 minutes and then threw the controller in the corner and hid under your bed, huh? Knowing you. Why didn't you tell me that I was walking upright the entire time? One more thing. When you are in caves, I would always recommend to crouch regardless of whether the cave is cleared or not, and to use the light as scarcely as you can, because, and I believe this is actually a glitch that they never bothered fixing, even when you are in caves, all the guys outside, especially if the cave is not very deep below ground, they know where you are, and they will wait at the entrances for you if the entrances are closed, that is. So, no, I don't want to go there. I want to go the other way. This way. Oh, and with the guy, by the way, with that American dude, I don't think that that was really a problem with understanding, because I had other people join and they understood me just fine. And I mean, I listen to myself because I do the recordings for my poetry after all, and I tend to do some song recordings as well, so when you listen back to yourself, you can tell whether or not you're understandable, you know. And I should like to think that I'm not too difficult to understand. But I think he just came in to troll, really, just from the onset, just to be nasty. Which makes it really sad. That people feel the need to do stuff like that. To people that they have never met before, that they have absolutely no beef with, you know? Just to put other people down. It's just sad, nasty. Yeah, they do. Now, let's see if they see us. Now, tell me, if I have the lighter off, can you still see properly here? Or is the brightness setting too low for you to actually make things out? Okay, cool. Just making sure. I mean, normally I have the brightness even lower. Normally, let me see. Almost closed the game by accident. Okay. Display. Normally I tend to go down to this. But I think if I do this, this might be too dark for the stream actually. What do you think? Is it still okay-ish? Okay, let me change it then. Let me pull it back up a little. Yeah, I like to play with as much darkness as possible. These kind of games. It just makes it a nice ambience, you know, I think. Yeah, give me the booze. Okay, off to the Katana Cave, because there's food. It's funny how much you talk in your stream, yet when you're here, you hardly say anything. Calm as a lamb. Meh. And yeah, that was stupid. You don't want to run out of air. Because the moment that you start gasping for air, they can hear you if they're in close vicinity. And they will home in on you because of that. Ah, I see. You're the silent watcher, huh? So, did you have a look at the poem that I wrote that you were saying, oh, I want to look at it so badly. Give me all the links. And then you complained, oh, it's all German. Rah. It's actually not all German, mind you. It's bilingual. Uh-oh, something spawned in. Let's hope it was a bunny. Okay, no, it doesn't look like a bunny. But he's going away, so all is well. Should actually raise the volume for me, but why is there no sound whenever I try to adjust my... There we go. That way around, okay. You see, I have a new headset that I got, a week ago or so. And unfortunately, this volume control is a wheel rather than just two buttons where you know that if you push one button, it goes up, if you push the other button, it goes down. It's a wheel. So, depending on which way around you hold the bloody cable control, it's either one way or the other. And of course you tend not to look at the bloody cable control, because you're usually doing something else. So now let's say hi to Big Daddy. And let me read that in a second when I'm actually in the dry here, because I don't like being near that guy. Even though he tends to not come further than this if he does aggro on you. I'd rather not chance it. And anyhow, I just wanna... I need food. Bear with me. See, in this cave, just like in the X cave as well, I tend to not even bother using the light most of the time because I just know my way around. But while like here, I just know you just gotta go straight. Yeah, I need food real bad. We. Are we? Oops. Okay, now let's still that hunger, shall we? There we go. Nom 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 nom. I need to check my calories though. Oh yeah, I do need to eat. Never mind that. Never mind, never mind. Anyhow. So now, let me read what you wrote there. Well, hold on, let me pull it up. And I can translate the bits for you if you want. So the English stuff, the English passages were no problem, no? You don't need a translation for that one either? Okay, let's see. So, do you know what Väterchenfrost means? Okay, Väterchenfrost is a mythical creature, I would say, or not creature, person. It's the personification of frost. Some say even Harfrost. So it's usually depicted as an old man big white beard wrapped in a thick robe, sometimes with a staff and a lantern, sometimes just with a staff. Other times you can see him depicted on a white steed as well. And Väterchen means it's like a child's way to address their father. And Frost is just like in English, frost. So that's what it means, and that's what it's about. And so the first shouldn't be a problem because you know that. Frühling means spring. If in the first stanza you didn't know that. So when it says let them recover till Frühling has come, Frühling is just spring. Then the first German stanza means come and bring with you ice and snow. Let the snowflakes dance on the frozen lake. Nikolaus is something that you don't really have in English because you only have Santa Claus. In German folklore, you have Santa Claus, you have Weihnachtsmann, as we call it, and then you have Nikolaus as well. Nikolaus is a saint that comes on the 5th of December and brings gifts to the children. He is the one that actually puts gifts into the shoes of children in German folklore. Whereas Santa Claus, he does not put things into stockings or shoes or anything like that. He just deposits pretty much the presents in front of the door, and then the kids have to retrieve them. Or these days, of course, they are put under the Christmas tree. But yeah, Nikolaus is the guy that shows up on the 5th of December. And it says, lass Nikolaus stapfen durch weiße Pracht. So let Nikolaus stapfen is a type of walking when there's really heavy snow and your feet sink into the snow. And I mean snow that maybe reaches up to the middle of your shin. So it's kind of this heavy walking kind of motion. I don't even know what a good word would be in English. But wait, what day is it today? Oh, it's the 6th. Maybe it is actually the 6th and not the 5th. I'm not sure. It's been a while for me, a couple of decades actually. But I'm not sure anymore if it was on the 5th or on the 6th of December. It could be the 6th actually, because it is a saint, so you might be right actually. But yeah, so stapfen is just the motion of walking through heavy snow. And weiße Pracht is just a term for snow. It's a colorful term for snow, I would say. You know, the white beauty, if you like, if you literally translate it. And then the last line, when Glocken klingen in der heiligen Nacht, that's when bells ring in the holy night. Then the third stanza, the first one, is just pretty much the translation of the German version of the first stanza, slightly different arrangement. Just so it again says, "Ride, Father Frost, ride well, ride swift," and then the rest is English, you know that. And the last stanza is translated into sort of kinda as fireworks greet the brand new year, and slowly forgotten is what once was. Ride, Father, ride your white steed, till spring lets you rest in your icy castle. I hope that makes sense somewhat. Anyhow, back to the game. Completely sidetracked here. Fun fact, when I was looking up rhyme words for the German word Ross, which is spelled with an SZ, which these days is spelled as a double S. They don't use the SZ anymore. I looked it up and Google told me my writing is archaic. So yeah, thank you Google. I'm archaic. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Love you too. I'm outdated. Oh, 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 too much booze. Are you saying I sound like a witch? And that's why I should make that poem. I see how it is, son. I see how it is. Yeah, I totally believe that. Totally believe that. Will you go away? I don't want to drink you. Well, I should really. Yeah, I would prefer the $1 million over the ideas. I think I can come up with the ideas myself. Somewhat still. What am I missing? Booze. Huh? Oh! Why didn't you tell me that I was missing the watches? Well, one watch, I suppose. Look at all that money. And all you can do with it is burn it. Such a waste. So you said you played the game through. Which of the endings did you play through? Did you save Timmy or did you sacrifice him? Also, fun fact, nobody actually bothered looking at the poem at all. Usually I have at least 5 people that, well, I wouldn't so much say as read what I write, but they press the like button, only to bait me into going to their profiles and so they can make money off the views. But yeah, not even that. Right. So you played with a friend, you didn't even play by yourself. Wow, what a scrub. My word. So, I'm thinking now, should I go and get the... I mean, I'm not really in a hurry since I'm just showing you around anyway. But, or should I maybe, well... You see, that's the one thing that I dislike about streaming on PlayStation, that whenever you change games, it actually forces you to stop the stream instead of just letting you switch to the other game and then continue on the stream, you know? Unlike on PC. Because I was about to say, I could go into my main account, I suppose, and show you what it already looks like, rather than building everything from scratch again. Yeah. Only because you're not German. If you were German, you would have had no problem with that one. Oh, come on, let me make my hunting utensils here. So, hunting it is. Usually what I do is, well, two options really. Either I really stay here if I have a stroke of luck. I stay here and really get all the deer that I need, or I just come here, check if I can get a raccoon, because the raccoons on hard survival are a pain to get, especially early on. And the game loves trolling. So the very moment that you have all the materials that you need for the bloody suit and whatnot, you see raccoons jumping around everywhere. But up until that moment, you can't find a single raccoon. That was kind of the joke, but okay. Never mind that. Never mind that. You spend too much time with Americans, I think. They're rubbing off on you. And well, seeing what Germany like, what Germany's like these days, I think they wouldn't have a problem with that either. Seeing how all the brown shit's coming back to the surface these days. So now, I'm actually itching to play Destiny again. I'm in hate love with that game. I absolutely hate the developers of that game and how they treat everyone like a cash cow, and how they remove content that you've paid for in the past. I mean, it wasn't enough to make people pay for the game, for the DLCs, and then a year later make everything free. No. Oh, hello, dear. Bye-bye, dear. Why am I holding the bloody... Never mind that. But yeah, still, it's... I don't know, this game is just something else. I've played so many games over the 3 decades that I've been gaming, and that game is the only game that really feels natural, as natural as a game could possibly ever feel. When it comes to the controls, they're just so intuitive, to me at least. Even the first time that I even touched the game, straight away there was no awkwardness when it came to the controls or to how the game worked in itself. It just all felt very natural. And the graphics, oh my word, I love the graphics of the game. And especially Europa, I really like what they did with that. Even though at times it looks like it's just a copy of a different planet that they have removed now. It tends to remind me of Mars, especially the way that they place the buildings at times, and in some locations looks just like Mars. I mean, I suppose it's expected to be expected because it's made by the same company, if you like. I mean, the buildings, it's like ruins from um, before the collapse, and they're all Braytech from the same firm, Braytech, and hence I suppose you would expect that the buildings looked similar, but still. Yeah, it absolutely was, and what I find even worse is that there are all these little fanboys and fangirls out there that just absolutely brainlessly say yes and amen to everything that the company does, probably because they're getting money out of it, most like. But yeah, they just brainlessly say yes and amen to everything, and if you then even the most mild-mannered suggestions that you may make on the comment are just met with harassment and hatred, and it's just, yeah. To give you an example, I actually have Destiny 1 3 times. The first time, was it 3 times or 4 times now actually? The first time I bought it, I first had the demo for PlayStation 3, and I really loved the game, and I was contemplating buying it, and I thought, well, I have the option to either buy a new game for an old console, or to buy the new game and the new console. So I opted to buy the game for the new console, so I bought a PlayStation 4 just to play Destiny. And I bought not just Destiny, but I bought the limited edition, which is the box version just without the little figurine that would come with the collector's edition. So same thing, just without the figurine. And I paid £100 for that one. Thought, okay, it came with the first 2 DLCs that hadn't even been released at that point. I think at that point only The Dark Below had been released, the first DLC. And so I thought, okay, if any further DLC comes, I'll just buy it, expecting the DLC to be around 20 quid. So half the price of a standard game normally. That was my thinking. And then I played the game, loved the game, but then I quit because the community was just so toxic that I found it really hard to find people to play with. And so I took a hiatus from the game, came back half a year later, and new DLC had just dropped about, I think, 2 weeks before I returned to the game. The new DLC had dropped, The Taken King. And I thought, okay, no problem. Well, first of all, I just wanted to log in because a friend that I had made in that game, and I wanted to go back and just do some Crucible. And so we went back in, but yeah, guess what? Everything was locked. You could not play anything unless you had the DLC. You couldn't even get into the Crucible. And so that was the first thing where both of us were really disgruntled. After all, we had paid for everything, up to the new DLC. And so we said, okay, no problem, we go buy it. Went to the PlayStation Store, and the DLC was sold for the price of a proper new game. A full new game price. So, which here usually new games go at anywhere between 40 and 60 British pounds. And the DLC was, I think, 44 British pounds. And so I said, no, thank you. Yep. And the other thing also was that you could not find the DLC anywhere standalone other than the PlayStation Store. You could not purchase the standalone DLC in game stores. The only thing that they had available was the compilation where you had the game and the first 3 DLCs. And funnily enough, that was as expensive as the standalone DLC. So I said, no thank you. But nevertheless, the same year, I really wanted to play the game. I missed playing the game. I had missed playing the game all this time, all those months. It was really just the community that drove me away from it. And so, same year, come Black Friday, I thought, okay, I buy the game. You know, I mean, not the game, the DLC. I was hoping that I would find it for maybe a regular price. And yeah, forget that. DLC was still, standalone DLC was still the same price, but the compilation had dropped to half price. The price that you would normally expect to pay for just the DLC itself. And so I thought, okay, fine, that's fair enough, you know. I mean, that's the price that I would have paid for the DLC itself. So, fine. I just buy the game again with all 3 DLCs. So that was the first time. So I have, at that point, I had the limited edition with the game and the first 2 DLCs, and then I had the Taken Kin edition, where you had the game and the first 3 DLCs. So I thought, okay, no problem. Played the game, but again, community drove me away from it. And so this time I stayed away longer from the game, and when I decided, I think that was after I had already started playing Destiny 2. I think it was after Forsaken, when I decided, oh, that's a bit too far. When I decided to go back to Destiny 1 because I missed Kate too much. So I wanted to go back, play Destiny, you know, have some quality time with him. And that's when I then thought, well, might as well buy the DLC, and same thing again. Standalone DLC was as expensive as a completely new game. On the other hand, though, buying the DLC on its buying the DLC with the game in yet another compilation that saw all 4 DLCs and the game on the same disc, I paid only half the price. So that's how I ended up with Destiny 3 times. And similar rubbish went on with Destiny 2 actually. When I bought Forsaken, when I first came to Destiny 2, relatively late, because I did not want to have any part anymore in anything that Bungie or Activision had their hands on. But either way, I was tired of the games that I had and I missed playing Destiny, and so I thought, okay, I'll play it because I had it for free with PlayStation Plus. And so I then played it first for free, but I wanted to again spend more time with Cade, and so I thought, okay, I buy the Forsaken, not knowing what actually happens in Forsaken. I had no clue, and so I bought it, and then to my dismay I realized what the story was about. And yeah, after a couple of months I then just thought, I didn't like it, and went back to Destiny 1. But when I bought the Forsaken, the problem was that it wouldn't let me buy Forsaken unless I had the first 2 DLCs of the game. Osiris and, gosh, what was the other one? I forgot what the other one was called. But yeah, so the first 2 DLCs I had to buy. So the PlayStation Store actually forced me to buy the first 2 DLCs for Destiny 2 standalone, which I did. They were cheap enough, you know, $15 for both. So I thought, okay, no problem. And then, several months later, I realized, because somebody had mentioned it, that guess what? Actually, since I bought Forsaken with the annual pass, the DLCs were supposed to be free. They were supposed to be included in it. Yeah, forget about that. What makes no sense? And mind you, this time it was actually an issue with PlayStation, and I could have gotten a refund, I suppose, but I just couldn't bother. I had so much stuff going on real life-wise that was just an additional burden that I did not want to deal with at the time. So Yeah, yeah, I know. But hey, that's Destiny for you. Or, not Destiny, that's Bungie for you. And then also, I again took a hiatus from the game. I always, I don't know, I play this game on and off simply because of the community, really. And either way, so I returned to the game when it was, I forgot what the season was called, what it was all about the war mind and the bunkers they had just opened up and whatnot. That was the season that I came to. So I bought the season, not a problem, enjoyed the game as always. And then season ended, next season dropped, so I thought, okay, no problem, I buy the next season as well, because I was really having a good time for once in the game. And then I think on day 3 of the new season, there was an announcement, an in-game announcement, a pop-up screen that said, oh, by the way, come the next season, planets will be removed. Guess what? Planets that I paid twice for. They removed Mars and they removed Mercury, which were the 2 DLC areas that I paid twice for. And on top of that, they have now introduced something called oh gosh, what's the bloody name? Something lighting. Oh, a sunsetting. Sunsetting for gear, which means that gear has a cap on how much you can level it up, and then you have to get the next season's gear in order to progress higher, which is really stupid because the gear is still the same. So, for example, Kate's cloak, Memory of Kate for a hunter, I had completely maxed out, and I can no longer use my masterwork pieces because they have the sunsetting. They are now completely useless. Yeah, yeah. And I now have to level up the item again to a masterwork, which I already had before. And once the season is over, I will have to do the same again. And also, I must say, the one thing that I really am disgruntled about when it comes to Destiny 2 is that the gear is so bloody ugly. Compared to the gear that they had in Destiny 1 looks amazing. The pieces of gear that they have, regardless for which class, it looks awesome. The gear here in Destiny 2 is just ugly as hell, and every season it gets more uglier. And so I was really there's really only a handful of pieces of gear that I like and that I used to wear on my hunter. And now it's just, yeah, nothing. There's near nothing anymore that I really like. Gear-wise, it all just looks ugly. And unfortunately, the one helmet that I really loved, because I had a little bit of a fallen look going on. The helmet, the Tangled Web helmet, is no longer available from what I've seen. At least it hasn't dropped for me yet. So I cannot even go back to my old look. And again, then what really annoys me is the fact that once the season's over, I will have to do everything again. And so that means you have 3 months to find gear that has decent perks, given that everything is randomized. I mean, I would understand if they would have made it that there's no more randomization when it comes to the stats, you know, when the perks are static. I would have understood, you know, that every season you have to level up your gear anew. Okay, I can live with that. But given the fact that A, you spend forever to find gear, be it weapons or be it armor, that has proper stats, that actually work, and then to have to spend all the materials, all the time farming for the materials to even just upgrade it, just to then maybe be able to play with the gear for 3 or 2 weeks before the season ends, and then to have to do it all over again. That's what really annoys me. Because it just feels like a complete pressure into grinding and into playing the game. Because now I have multiple games that I enjoy playing. I like playing Alien Isolation, I like playing The Forest, I like playing Diablo 3, especially since it's a new season at the moment in Diablo 3. And I like playing Destiny, of course. And so there's multiple games that I'm playing at the same time, you know, depending on how I feel. And with Destiny at the moment, it feels that if I don't play the game every day, I will not be able to compete in the Crucible properly, because I simply will not have the gear. And yeah, there's for a gamer that is not 100% playing the game every day, all day, it seems like there's no competition or no way to compete anymore at all. Be it in Crucible or be it in raiding, because you're just not up there. You just can't find the gear because it simply takes too long to find the right gear and to level it up. Especially since they now also made changes to the way that you level up gear as well. So it's just money making, you know. It's really just all about making money. I mean, I understand they're trying to get people into buying their season passes, because when you have a season pass, then you get the gear automatically, the season gear, you know, so people don't have to grind for it. But yeah, so let's just anyhow, rant over. Let's play the game. So I'm not sure if I'm lucky with raccoons here. It doesn't seem like that. I think they got scared away from me talking all the time, so maybe I should just shut up. What you think? I really actually want to go into my main account and show you what it looks like once you have built all the stuff. Just show you around, sort of. Because I actually really want to play Destiny at the moment. I talked so much about it. I could have sworn I just saw something move over there. Oh. Oh well. Finding the raccoons is a pain. I usually come here for the raccoons. There are other spots where you can find them. Goose Lake is where raccoons spawn. Is looky. Hehehe. Speaking of the devil, Goose Lake is the place where they also spawn. Especially again, if you have everything, then they tend to spawn all the bloody time. But Goose Lake is very thickly wooded, and it's very tricky, especially due to all the undergrowth that you have there, all the bushes and whatnot. It's really hard to see them, so I prefer actually coming here for hunting rather than hunting at Goose Lake. Another thing that I noticed, another mistake that I noticed a lot of people do is that they get caught up in fighting the cannibals at their campsite, and they put up defensive walls. I never use defensive walls, and mind you, I play with building damage off because I'm in single player mode, and I just don't want to have the hassle of having to rebuild. But even if you play with building damage on, you don't need defensive walls, because defensive walls is one of the things that drives them, or that draws them to attack your campsite. If you just have a regular house built, no defensive walls, no lifts. Lifts is the other thing that draws them. Just a regular house. They will not go to your campsite unless you are inside the building. Only if you are in the building will they start attacking the building. And again, that is just things that I figured out from observation, you know. I saw what it's like when I was in my building, and what it was like when I was just outside of it. And they will always try to get to you, and if your building is in the way, well, they take down the building. But if you're not in the building, or if you see them near the building, or if you hear them attack the building, just get out of the building and let them see you somewhere else, and they will naturally come towards you rather than continuing to chop at the building. So, but let me actually end the stream and start a new one on my other account. I'll send you the link, because I don't know, I don't feel the forest mojo at the minute. So if it's okay with you, I'll just link you once I'm in. Oh, hi there. Look, we have visitors. And they just spawned in. Interesting. Well, I will be gaming for once today, actually. I really want to game. So... And I see how it is, yeah. I see how it is. I just get 25 minutes of your time. Okay, okay. But yeah, I'll restart the stream. I'll send you the link on Discord. So I'll see you in a moment.